Jaden Smith, ERYS. ERYS.
Jaden now.
Jaden. Yep, just Jaden. The follow-up to 2017 Sire. And Dave, did you know ERYS is Sire backwards?
Did you know Sire is his middle name?
No, actually, I didn't know that.
There you go. Connected. All of
Wow.
it. Third eye
Oh,
shit, man.
yeah.
Jaden.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing is, yeah, Jaden is known for his weirdness in a lot of ways. I
Yep.
think as a musical artist, he gets respect in the field, and especially has a somewhat famous relationship with Tyler the Creator, where he said on stage that they were boyfriend, they're going out together, they're partners, however you want to state that. I don't know if that's ever been found to be true.
I think it was a joke.
Probably was. But Tyler then shows up on this album, and so does Kid Cudi. Get a couple
A$AP
other,
Rocky.
yeah, ASAP Rocky, Willow, his sister, obviously. So we get a pretty big mix of people here, and he obviously has a little bit of clout. But is it deserved? And I think that's the question I'm kind of left with after listening to ERYS. What do you think? How do you view Jaden as an artist?
Yeah, that's the thing. So, I mean, we talked about Sire when it came out in 2017, and we skipped the Sunset tapes he put out last year, which was a mixtape that I didn't really like much of anything on it. He also did the Sire Electric album, where he did these weird electronic remixes of a bunch of Sire songs. Weird shit, but really nothing to write home about. So this is really the only second time we've really touched on him as a musician. Yeah, I've kind of grown to appreciate his celebrity, his platform, I guess. Not because I'm taking him seriously. No, no one actually is. He's a rich kid. Like, we don't actually care his real thoughts. He's just kind of funny and amusing, I think. And it started out really before the music took off, as we know, with those weird tweets where he's just saying nonsense shit. And I'm sure he'd get along great with Kyrie Irving. But
Oh my god!
and now, and Sire had a lot of those weird out there fake deep bars. I don't know if there was as many of those on ERYS now, but I think ERYS is a step up from Sire. I think it's his best project. It's obviously far too long, but I think I just appreciate that he's willing to try weird stuff. Like, he really switches his flows, he changes his inflections, he does a weird kind of production shit. He's clearly inspired by Kanye and Tyler, and that certainly means you're taking a lot of swings and you're missing a lot. And I think a lot of times when Jaden misses, he really misses. But I kind of respect that he's willing to try different stuff and not just be super boring and lack of personality. So I guess that's a bit of a qualifier. But I think when he does make fun songs, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, ERYS supposedly, or according to him in a Rolling Stone interview, is a concept album about a person named ERYS, a young man named ERYS who lives in dystopian LA, similar to the Warriors, and he takes over the town and has a bad ending. And if nothing else, I agree this is probably his best project yet. I don't know if that means it's a good project, but I do think there's more on here that you can like and feel optimistic about for his future as an artist. But I give him a lot of credit for sticking to his weirdness and for trying these concepts. And it definitely seems like he has a lot of artistic integrity, that he's not necessarily trying to make something that's just ear catching, that he's like, okay, I have this idea and I want to see it through. I think you can also take swings like this when your dad is Will Smith and your mom is Jada Pinkett Smith, and your fame is not.
Say it again.
Yeah, your fame is not tied to your success as an artist, but just the fact that you are their children and you are this public persona who's super weird and out there and people like. But I do think there's more on here to like. I heard him actually. You mentioned X before. I heard him kind of channeling a little bit of that Florida rap metal scene a bit.
Yeah. Riot,
especially near the end. Yeah, Riot was one, which I actually thought he did pretty well. There was a song on there. Let me see where I had my notes. Blackout, which I was like, oh, this seems like a pretty blatant XXX Tentacion ripoff right here. Not sure if this is working, but yeah, Riot, I thought it came out pretty well near the end. And yeah, that weird production, I thought it actually worked out a couple times, especially when he had someone to anchor him, like Tyler, the creator on Noise. I thought was a standout. I also really liked Trinidad James on Mission.
Yeah.
And I felt
Shout
like,
out to TJ, man. Where the hell have
yeah,
you been?
I felt like when he had someone to collab with, he actually brought it a little bit more.
Sure.
Anything else that stood out to you? Anything worth talking about?
Cool to see him make a song with Willow. I can't really remember any of his past songs with her. I'm sure they have some. I don't remember them. Yeah, I really like Riot as well, just because it's just different than really the whole flow of the album to that point, and just a cool swing. But I actually thought it sounded pretty cool. You know, like you said, shades of X, shades of Denzel Curry, a little bit. Definitely that Florida punk rap styling. Honestly, I thought it hit pretty hard right away. I, N, and K, the second, third, and fourth songs, I thought all sounded pretty cool. And sometimes those flows, they're really simple flows. It's ultimately just kind of a loopy trap beats and stuff. But I was bobbing my head to more songs than I expected. So yeah, actually, I thought the Cuddy song sounded pretty cool. I thought that was actually a pretty solid Cuddy performance.
Yeah,
good hums in there for sure.
he's been turning in some really solid performances. Kids See Ghost last year, we thought he sounded probably the best he has in a long time, and that on this I thought that song also stood out. Where I feel like the album really lost me a lot of time was there's just too much space in these songs. We're going to talk about the Dreamville record in a second, but something I really liked about that record, even though it was an hour long, most of the songs were pretty short, and it really helped this long album feel quicker because I felt like we were going through at a brisk pace. There was some on this where it was like an hour, like it felt like an hour, like a minute 30 of outro, like these like spindly guitars and like just like spacey synths. And I'm like, man, just like get to the next song. I get the point. Just go. So
Right.
A little more fine tuning.
And then the opposite of that, I think that there's a few songs where I think Got It or On My Own, where it's like these rapid fire bars for 70 seconds.
Right. The pacing was just all off. Couldn't find it. So yeah, optimistic. He's only 20 still, which is kind of crazy. I feel like they've been in the consciousness for like 6 years now, probably since they were like 13 or 14. I mean, Whip My Hair Back and Forth was what, 2015, 2014?
No, dude. That was
even further back?
Was like 2010, 11. I was a freshman.
I can't even fathom that they've been famous.
I think that's around the time where they both kind of got known. Like, remember Karate Kid for Jaden, as well as his Bieber collabs when he's still quite young. And there's a little bit of a downtime. And then, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, he started to dip his toe into hip hop and stuff. But I mean, he performed at Coachella and has Dad come out. He is a legitimate artist, and it does seem like he's taking it seriously. He opened up on tour this past year with, I want to say it was Cole. So he's doing it now, which is cool. And meanwhile, I really liked him at Skate Kitchen last year, one of my favorite movies, 2018. So he does have some cool things going on. So I'm just very curious to see what's next, because it's really tough to pin him down, which is probably the most exciting part of it.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely stay tuned to Jaden and also Willow if she drops anything